Hello, Joe here. I'm a musician, I'm a composer, and I like talking about music right here on this channel for your eyeballs to consume. So today, in honor of Pride Month, I wanted to talk about Tchaikovsky. For those who don't know, Tchaikovsky was a Russian classical composer from the Romantic period. He wrote operas, concertos, symphonies, and he played a significant role in the fusion of Western and Eastern styles. But all that trivia pales in comparison to the fact that he was gay, a homosexual, an abomination, if you will. Now, gay composers are actually common as muck. Handel, Oliveros, Britten, Bernstein. Tchaikovsky's situation is actually quite interesting and unique, as despite him living a few hundred years ago, his homosexual exploits are actually very well documented in letters and accounts. This is unusual as a large chunk of queer history before the 20th century has actually been lost due to changing understandings of gender and sexuality, or more insidiously has been erased or suppressed by censors. This is what we will be talking about today: Pyotr Tchaikovsky and the malicious gay faggotry that he got up to in his relatively short life before he died of cholera or poison. See, there's always a bit of drama I managed to squeeze out there. Anyway, like, subscribe, leave a comment, send me a nude. No, don't do that. Donate to my Patreon. Let's go. Tchaikovsky was born in the small town of Votkinsk in Vyatka province in the Russian Ural Mountains. He was born to Ilya Petrovich Tchaikovsky and Alexandra Andreevna Tchaikovskaya. Fucking long ass names. Also pronunciation, I don't know if it's right. His father was an engineer and ex-military person that worked in the nearby ironworks, and his mother was Ilya's second of 3 wives. As always, I wish I could find more information on the women in these stories, but patriarchy gotta dominate, I guess. Apparently, she was educated at the Patriotic Institute in Moscow, a place on which I can find literally zero information, so sorry. Anyway, both Tchaikovsky's parents were trained in the arts, including music, and this got him into playing and composing from the get-go. By age 6, he was fluent in both French and German, and he started learning music from 5. Tchaikovsky never particularly excelled as a pianist, but he did learn to proficiently read sheet music within 3 years of his studies. Bad at piano, gang, rise up! His nanny and teacher, Fanny Durbach, would develop a significant bond with the young composer, and would hold on to Tchaikovsky's early compositions, even as he forgot or rejected them. Tchaikovsky was the second of 7 children, and as a very solitary man, they would make up the majority of his family and friends throughout his life. Now, onto the gay shit. True to its form, no gay story can be told without drama, abandonment, or a little dash of mummy issues, and Tchaikovsky experienced all of these. Tchaikovsky's father had an unreliable income, and his parents wanted him to gain independence as soon as possible. Now, at the time, the role of musician in Russia did not carry the same prestige that it did in the rest of Europe. It was a very difficult job with next to no pay. So Tchaikovsky, although showing budding talent for music, would have to put his skills to good use elsewhere. He was sent 800 miles away to a boarding school at just 10 years old, and then would transfer to the Imperial School of Jurisprudence. Yeah, it's called that. In St. Petersburg, with goals of becoming a civil servant. Tchaikovsky was very young to be left on his own, and he felt abandoned by his parents, specifically his mother. Trauma and abandonment at the young age of 10 can stay in the psyche for the rest of your life, and this seemed to be the case for Tchaikovsky, as from then on he would exhibit a particular fear of rejection. However, it was at the Imperial School of Jurisprudence that Tchaikovsky would meet his first potential lover, Alexei Apukhin. Apukhin was a friend of Tchaikovsky's and a very keen reader and writer. Incredibly charismatic and showy, Apukhin, from very young, was able to wow the adults around him with his witty storytelling. His conversation was quoted to having been imbued with such wit and clothed in such attractive form that for the sake of this alone, one forgot the frivolity of the contents. Now, if that's not the essence of gayness, then I don't know what is. People were so astounded by him that many believed him to be the next Pushkin, a hero of Russian classical literature. However, this would never really come to fruition, as Apukhin was never massively interested in making money off of his literature. Apuktin was also, unsurprisingly, a massive homo. We don't know to what degree his and Tchaikovsky's relationship went, but we do know that they were very close friends, and Apuktin was one of the only people Tchaikovsky would show his early music to. I suspect, given that this was two fairies at a boys' boarding school, that there was probably a little bit of something going on. However, of course, it would be unchristian to speculate. He, Tchaikovsky, and Apuktin would remain close friends for their entire lives. Tchaikovsky's brief sense of stability was rocked again by his mother's abrupt and painful death from cholera in 1854. Her dying, with him many hundreds of miles away, not even getting to say goodbye, seriously crystallized his fear of abandonment and rejection, and would forever influence his personality. Tchaikovsky graduated the Imperial School of Jurisprudence 9 years later, and he quickly entered the social scene of St. Petersburg. It was there that his true homosexual flower would begin to blossom. Rosebud, if you will, don't look that up. He entered the social and cultural milieu as a young man about town, often in search of pleasure, sexual pleasure. Knowing gay men and how they act, this means that he was most likely a massive slut. I'm not shaming him. We've all been there on all fours, encompassed within concentric circles of oily erect men in ski masks, but nonetheless, he was empirically a slut.
Said certified free, 7 days a week, wet and gushy, make that pull-out game real.
However, this was the 19th century, and homosexuality was not exactly looked upon kindly in Russia. So he, according to his brother Modest, who was also gay, decided to calm down on the fucking and sucking, lest he be embroiled in a scandal. It was by this time that Tchaikovsky realized that the job of civil servant was just not for him, and he enrolled in the Moscow Conservatoire to study composition. And this is where our story ends. For now. Next week, I'll be covering the rest of Tchaikovsky's life and all the homosexual escapades he got up to. Until then, please like the video, please subscribe, please consider leaving a comment and hitting the bell button. See you soon.